Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is to give you that shortcut to being really well informed. And today, we're diving into something, well, fascinating. It's an area that often gets sort of dismissed, maybe as pure fantasy, but it actually holds some deeply practical applications for, modern life. We're talking about crystal shielding.
Yes, and this is going to be a deep dive focused squarely on the application. We're really trying to move past maybe the glossy photos, the mystique, and provide a genuine sort of earth-based toolkit. How can you create energetic self-care routines that are actually functional and grounded?
Yeah, grounded is the key word. My own personal introduction to this wasn't in some new age bookstore or anything. It was actually at this chaotic midsummer street fair a few years back. It was sweltering hot, incredibly crowded. The noise was just immense, total sensory overload.
Oh, I can picture it. Stressful.
Totally. Everyone around me was just frantic, melting, complaining. But then I saw this woman, silver-haired, selling homemade soaps, and she was just radiating this, I don't know, unnatural, powerful calm amidst all the chaos. And she wore this heavy, matte black necklace.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
intriguing.
Right. So I finally just had to ask her, what is your secret? How are you staying so centered right now?
And I bet she had a straightforward answer, knowing the context.
She really did. No mincing words. She just smiled and said, "Black tourmaline. I let it do the hard work of holding the perimeter for me."
That's about the clearest definition of practical shielding you could ask for.
Exactly. And that chance conversation, it perfectly frames our mission for this deep dive today. We want to explore this dazzling, sometimes misunderstood world of crystal shielding, but using a really down-to-earth lens so you, listening, can maybe stop absorbing quite so much of the world's stress.
Because the need for this is, well, it's pervasive, isn't it? We all know that feeling, that energetic drainage, whether it's like the oppressive tension you feel in a conference room before a big presentation.
Oh, yeah. It's thick enough to cut with a knife sometimes.
Right, or that heavy, worried atmosphere in a packed train car during rush hour, or even just navigating the digital battlefield of social media.
That digital battlefield, that really resonates.
Yeah, and each of those exposures, it leaves us feeling subtly foggy, maybe drained, or just inexplicably irritable afterwards. We kind of need an invisible defense mechanism.
And the idea of stones as allies, it's not new, it's ancient. We're drawing on knowledge that literally predates written history.
Absolutely. Stones have served as powerful talismans for centuries. You look at the jade burial suits in ancient China. Those were meant to protect the soul on its journey, right?
Yeah.
All the way to, say, jet amulets found in Viking graves.
What were those for?
Protection against the evil eye, primarily. The core concept is just that these stones, which are older and frankly steadier than us, can stand watch when maybe we can't.
Okay, so our deep dive mission today then is what? To provide a toolbox.
Exactly. A robust toolbox for you, the listener. We'll cover how to choose the right allies, the right stones for you, how to consistently cleanse them, which is crucial, and how to charge them with specific purpose. All geared toward building a personal energetic shield that moves dynamically with you through pretty much every environment you encounter.
Okay. And this whole practice, you're saying it's anchored in some core ideas.
Yes, 5 foundational threads that really unify all the source material we looked at. The first is simply that energy, emotional, mental, environmental is real, personal, and dynamic. If you accept that light and sound are energy waves, it's not a huge leap to understand that our thoughts and feelings also possess a kind of vibrational quality.
So energetic hygiene is like washing your hands.
Precisely. Which leads right into the second thread. Protection is not paranoia. It's just proactive, energetic self-governance. Good energetic hygiene. It's about building a respectful boundary, between your inner state and all that external chaos.
Makes sense. And the third?
Intention programs everything. This is critical. Without your focused consciousness, a crystal is essentially just, well, silica and some trace minerals. It's pretty, but inert in this context. It only awakens and focuses its inherent properties when you imbue it with clear purpose. You give it the job.
Right. And number 4?
Practice beats theory. Every single time. You gain far more effective protection by simply remembering to tuck that little pebble of smoky quartz into your pocket before a stressful meeting, making it a daily habit, than by executing some elaborate complex ritual only once in a blue moon. Consistency is absolutely the key.
Okay. And the last one?
Respect for Earth matters. Deeply. The practice of shielding has to involve ethical sourcing and mindful use. Our quest for personal calm shouldn't harm the very planet gifting us these ancient allies.
That's a really important point. You need clean, happy stones to do clean work. essentially.
You got it. Unclouded integrity.
So, by the end of this deep dive, what should someone listening expect to gain?
You'll have the knowledge not just to, wear a pretty stone, but to actually activate it as a personal energetic shield, an invisible second skin, if you will. And maybe just as importantly, you'll gain the ability to recognize those early warning signs of energetic drains before they spiral into genuine burnout or that chronic irritability we all want to avoid.
We actually had a great real-world example of this practicality, didn't we? Marco, the freelance graphic designer.
All right. His story was perfect. He wrote in after trying some of these principles. He mentioned that deadlines and really demanding client calls used to leave him so mentally agitated, he'd literally chew through multiple pen caps a day, just nervous energy.
I've been there. Maybe not the pen caps, but the feeling. So what changed?
He started placing a small grid, we'll talk more about grids later, but a simple one of hematite, clear quartz, and amethyst on his desk. And he programmed it specifically for calm focus. Then he just reset that intention every Monday morning. Simple.
And the result?
3 months later, Marco reported his pens were thankfully intact, but more importantly, his whole ability to manage stress had shifted. He still faces the same deadlines, the same client pressures, but the stress no longer sort of colonizes his mental space in the same way.
Wow. That transition from just passively absorbing the chaos to actively shaping your inner calm. That's powerful.
That's the real outcome we're aiming for with this deep dive, practical empowerment.
The science and history of invisible armor.
Okay, so let's unpack this first crucial part. We need to define what we actually mean by a crystal shield. And, maybe more importantly, how does it supposedly work? Physically.
Right. Defining the shield helps move us away from literal fantasy armor. It's not static medieval plate mail. A crystal shield is much better understood as a dynamic living membrane. Think of the cell membrane, that incredibly smart phospholipid bilayer.
Okay.
It inherently knows what to let in nourishment, good stuff, and what to filter out or neutralize toxins. So it stays permeable to positive insight, creative ideas, but deflects energetic junk.
And it's not just the crystal doing all the work, is it?
No, absolutely not. That's key. The shield is profoundly co-created. It's a partnership between the crystal's unique, stable vibrational signature, its inherent structure, and crucially, the user's clear, consistent intention. The crystal provides the structure, the stable frequency. You provide the directional instruction. You tell it what the job is.
Okay, so the crystal itself,
Yeah.
how does it organize energy?
At their heart, crystals function as master organizers. Their internal atomic lattice structure, the way their atoms are arranged, is incredibly ordered, highly regular. And because of that order, they vibrate at an extremely consistent frequency. So when chaotic or, let's say, unstable human energies like racing thoughts, anxiety, that frantic feeling brush up against this stability, the crystal's field subtly encourages those chaotic energies to stabilize, to kind of fall into step with its rhythm.
And this isn't a newfangled idea. You see this understanding historically.
Oh, absolutely. Across time and cultures, you see practical applications centuries ago. Roman soldiers, for example, carried polished tiger's eye.
Why tiger's eye?
Well, partly for decoration, sure, but that flashing effect, the chaudiency, it was believed to literally deflect fear, to turn it aside. And you see medieval clergy wearing amethyst rings. They were often programmed, with intention to protect virtue, maintain clarity, and even prevent intoxication, keep a clear head.
And indigenous wisdom reflects this too.
Definitely. Globally. We read accounts from, I believe it was a Lakota elder, who described protective stones as the bones of the earth that still remember the first heartbeat. Such a powerful way to frame it, isn't it? That these objects carry an ancient, reliable, steady rhythm that we can actually tap into when our own internal rhythms feel unstable or chaotic.
Okay, I get the concept, the history.
Yeah.
But to make this tangible, we need the physics bridge, right?
Yeah.
How does this spiritual insight connect with measurable properties? You mentioned piezoelectricity.
Yes, piezoelectricity. It sounds academic, maybe a bit intimidating, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Back in the 1880s, Pierre and Jacques Curie discovered something fascinating. They demonstrated that if you compress certain crystals, like quartz, they generate a measurable electric charge. Squeeze it, get electricity.
Yeah.
But critically, the reverse is also true. If you introduce an electric field to the quartz, the crystal will physically change its shape just ever so slightly. It vibrates or distorts.
And that two-way street, that's why quartz is in our tech, watches, GPS.
Exactly. It provides an incredibly stable electrical frequency, often around 32 kilohertz. It acts like a tiny, perfect, unwavering clock. That stability is essential for regulating timekeeping in your watch, stabilizing GPS signals, ensuring accurate radio transmissions. Modern tech relies on this ancient stone property.
Okay, so how does that connect back to us holding a crystal?
Right. When you hold a crystal, your body is constantly generating tiny microcurrents and electromagnetic fields. Just living produces this. Your body warmth creates a thermal gradient, your grip exerts physical pressure, and your biofield, that complex, dynamic electromagnetic web produced by your nervous system, your heart, all your biological processes, it's constantly interacting with the crystal's lattice structure. The crystal doesn't just sit there passively, it responds. It subtly reorients its internal charges to kind of harmonize with the field it encounters.
And you mentioned water is important here. How did that fit in?
Hugely important. We're what? Roughly 60% water. And established science acknowledges that water molecules form clusters that respond structurally to electric and magnetic fields. You can think of the water within our cells as a kind of, well, a liquid crystal in a way. It has structure. So when the crystal's highly ordered, stable lattice structure meets the responsive liquid crystal matrix of your own body water, it creates this extensive and immediate medium for energy transfer and stabilization. The message gets through quickly.
Okay, and different stones have different effects because of their makeup.
Precisely. Specific stones carry signature frequencies determined by their unique chemical composition. Black tourmaline, for instance, is rich in iron and manganese. This combination makes it strongly ferroelectric, meaning it holds an electric charge. This creates a grounding resonance. It literally pulls scattered energy downward, like a spiritual lightning rod.
And amethyst?
Amethyst is quartz with trace amounts of iron that's been exposed to natural radiation over millennia. It vibrates at frequencies that have been correlated in some studies with calm, integrated alpha brainwaves, the state associated with relaxed focus.
So when our energy field meets the crystal's field, what's actually happening? You mentioned 4 interactions.
Yeah, it generally breaks down into 4 key energetic interactions.
Yeah.
The first is resonance. Simple idea. 2 systems vibrating at compatible frequencies amplify each other. So if you're already feeling calm and centered, holding a crystal like amethyst might resonate with that state, reinforcing and amplifying it, like timing your push on a swing just right.
Okay, makes sense. Second.
Entrainment. This one is really critical for shielding. Entrainment is when a weaker, more chaotic oscillator, like say your nervous system, when you're stressed and your thoughts are racing, adapts and falls into step with a stronger, more stable, dominant rhythm. In this case, the crystal stable rhythm. This is how a grounding stone can literally help entrain and slow down those racing thoughts. It provides a steady beat for your system to follow.
Okay, I see. Third interaction.
Absorption. Pretty straightforward. Many protective crystals act like energetic sponges or electrical sinks. Hematite, and especially black tourmaline, are famous for this. They seem to pull electromagnetic smog from devices, wiring, and diffuse negative emotional energy out of the immediate environment, basically sparing your body the job of processing all that static.
Right. And the last one? Transmutation.
Yes, transmutation. This is maybe the most alchemical of the interactions. Some stones don't just block or absorb negativity, they actually seem to shift its frequency, its nature, its purpose. Amethyst is the classic example here. People often report it feels like it converts external tension or internal mental clutter into something more useful, like lucid insight or a really deep, tranquil calm. It's like an energetic upcycling process.
Okay, wow. That framework, resonance, entrainment, absorption, transmutation, it really helps explain why these stones can feel like they work so quickly, especially in moments of like acute need.
Exactly. It's not just wishful thinking. There are plausible mechanisms at play.
I actually had a really visceral experience with this. I was on this demanding book tour a while back, new city every night, lots of pressure. And I settled into this hotel bed in Chicago one night. And suddenly, wham, this intense wave of just generalized anxiety and panic flooded my mind.
Horrible feeling.
Yeah, and it felt completely foreign. It wasn't my anxiety, it felt like residual emotional chaos left behind by a previous guest, just lingering in the room, a classic high-traffic energy spot.
Oh, that phenomenon is so common in shared spaces like hotels, hospitals, even old houses. Your own energy field, your aura, is literally picking up the lingering emotional noise.
Exactly. So I remembered I had my little travel black tourmaline with me. Instead of just holding it, though, I took like 3 really deep, slow breaths first, kind of centered myself. Then I placed the stone right on my chest, and I programmed it clearly, specifically. Shield me. Process and neutralize all residual panic. Let only calm remain.
Good. Clear instruction.
And I visualize it too. I imagine each exhale pushing this kind of smoky, chaotic film out of my body and into that dense black stone, like it was absorbing it. Within maybe 3 minutes, the buzzing feeling just subsided, the phantom anxiety completely dissolved, gone. And I slept really deeply after that. It wasn't a theory. It felt like immediate, tangible, energetic first aid.
The three-layered shield. Physical, emotional, spiritual.
That story perfectly illustrates that we're not just protecting against one single type of threat, are we? There are different kinds of interference.
Which leads us nicely into the architecture of defense you talk about, the three-layered shield. Why is layered protection so necessary? Why not just one stone for everything?
Because we're holistic beings, fundamentally. These aren't separate systems operating in isolation. These layers, the physical, emotional, and spiritual, they overlap like translucent veils. And a breach, a weakness in one layer quickly compromises the others. We call this the stubbed toe principle internally. Okay, explain the stubbed toe principle.
It's simple, right? If you suffer a really painful physical injury, stub your toe badly, that's layer one, physical, that shock immediately triggers an emotional response, maybe rage or frustration or despair, layer two, emotional. And that emotional reaction can very quickly lead to cynical thoughts about fairness or purpose or why things like this always happen to you. Layer three, spiritual. See how it cascades.
Yeah, totally. One thing leads to another.
Exactly. So holistic security, real energetic resilience, requires tending to all three terrains at the same time. You need comprehensive coverage.
Okay, let's start with layer one then. Physical protection. You call this the foundation, the trunk of our energetic tree.
Yes. This layer focuses on the tangible realm. Your physical body tissues, your bioelectric field that we just discussed, and direct environmental stressors like EMF. The main goal here is to fortify the actual boundary of your aura, your personal energy field, against things that cause physical fatigue or deplete your vitality, including electromagnetic influences.
And the key ally here is hematite.
Hematite is a powerhouse for this layer. It's a highly dense iron oxide. Think of it energetically like adding iron rebar to the structure of your aura. It strengthens your energetic posture, helps prevent vitality leaks where you feel drained for no reason, and its density helps repel or ground some of that EMF static.
You also mentioned stones for geopathic stress in this layer. Can you quickly define geopathic stress for listeners who might not know the term?
Sure. Geopathic stress basically refers to subtle energies originating from the Earth itself, things like underground water streams, mineral deposits, or geological fault lines. These natural Earth energies can sometimes create disturbances or lines of energy that disrupt the harmonious flow in a living space, making a certain room or area feel chronically off, prickly, draining, or restless.
Okay. And which stones help with that?
Smoky quartz and shunyite are the go-to choices here. They act as powerful transmuters for this kind of dense telluric energy. They essentially draw in those unwanted subterranean vibrations, swirl them around internally, and neutralize them or disperse them harmlessly back into the earth. It's about grounding the space itself, not just your body.
And how would someone know if their physical shield is weak or breached? What are the signs?
The signs are usually quite tangible. Persistent fatigue that sleep just doesn't seem to resolve. Tension headaches, often centered at the temples or the base of the skull. Maybe stiff joints for no apparent reason. Or just that generalized restless feeling like you constantly need to glance over your shoulder, feeling vaguely unsafe or exposed. Even when there's no logical reason, your body feels undefended.
Okay. Moving up a level to layer two, emotional protection. The tides, you call it.
Yes, the tides. Because this layer deals with the shifting, often unpredictable, liquid terrain of feelings, both your own and those you pick up from others. This shield needs to be able to absorb or deflect things like ambient negativity whispers, scowls, residual sadness in a room, but also manage the draining presence of your own inner critic.
This seems like the layer that's most permeable for a lot of people, especially sensitive types.
Absolutely. It often is. Our allies here need to be soothing, but also provide some structure. Lepidolite is magnificent for this.
Why the lepidolite specifically?
It contains trace amounts of lithium naturally. Energetically, this provides a kind of cushion against emotional shockwaves. It helps buffer you. It specifically seems to prevent external anxiety or other people's frenzy from hooking into your solar plexus, which is a major center for personal power and emotional reactivity. It keeps you from getting sucked into the drama.
And you often pair it with pink kunzite.
Yes, pink kunzite is a beautiful partner here. Tensite specifically works with the heart chakra, channeling self-compassion inward. This is important because you don't want your emotional shield to become too hard, too brittle, or cynical. Kunzite helps you remain compassionate and heart-centered while still being appropriately guarded. Protection and connection.
I love the example you shared about Maya, the new manager. That really illustrated this layer.
Right. Maya believed she was just too sensitive for the corporate world because these high-pressure staff meetings would leave her feeling dizzy, overwhelmed, almost physically ill. By wearing lepidolite maybe as a pendant and discreetly palming a piece of kunzite during the meetings, she reported a huge shift. She stayed steady even when colleagues around her were panicking or getting agitated.
How did the stones help her manage that?
The lepidolite seemed to absorb or buffer the surrounding frantic vibrations like an energetic shock absorber. Meanwhile, the kunzite kept her heart energy centered and calm. This allowed her to respond thoughtfully to the situation rather than just reacting emotionally from a place of overwhelm. Big difference.
What are the signs that this emotional layer might be breached?
Key signs include your mood swinging wildly in response to relatively minor external events or comments, or when your natural empathy tips over into complete emotional overwhelm where you feel like you're drowning in other people's feelings. For this layer, stones attuned to the water element are often really helpful things like aquamarine or blue lace agate. They encourage emotional flow and healthy detachment rather than letting emotions become stagnant or letting you absorb too much.
Okay. And finally, layer 3, spiritual protection, the luminous landscape.
Yes, this addresses the highest frequency layer of our being. It focuses on maintaining your connection to your sense of purpose, your spiritual sovereignty, your connection to guidance or the bigger picture, and also protecting against more subtle forms of interference, psychic, static, unwanted energetic attachments, or things that dim your inner light.
What are the best allies for this layer?
Selenite, particularly in wand form, is a primary ally here. Selenite is a type of gypsum crystal with a very high pure vibration. It acts like a conduit to higher guidance and forms an immediate, clean, energetic perimeter. It's great for shielding against low-level astral chatter, just the general mental and spiritual noise from others that can be distracting, keeping your own energy field clear and focused.
And for more specific issues, like energetic cords.
For actively severing unwanted energetic cords, those draining attachments that can form between people, high vibration stones like amethyst, chaurite, and danburite are traditionally used. They have a clarifying, cutting quality on an energetic level.
How would someone know if this spiritual shield needs attention?
A breach here often manifests differently, maybe as a generalized existential dread, a feeling of meaninglessness, or a persistent cynicism cropping up about things you once held dear. Sometimes it's a more distinct, uncomfortable feeling of being energetically watched, drained, or even subtly manipulated by unseen sources or influences.
Got it. So the real power isn't just knowing the layers, but blending them, right? Like that job interview example.
Exactly. That's where the practical magic happens. For a high-stakes situation like a job interview, your strategy needs that layered complexity. You must combine, say, red jasper, worn maybe in your pocket for bodily steadiness and grounding, physical layer 1. Then add rose quartz perhaps over your heart to soften self-judgment, promote self-acceptance, and keep you open-hearted, emotional layer 2. And finally, carry a clear quartz point, specifically programmed to align you with your highest potential, your most confident self, and the best possible outcome. Spiritual layer 3.
So it's the synergy of the trio.
Precisely. The synergy provides this sense of embodied confidence, calm composure, and clear spiritual alignment all at once. It's much more robust than relying on just one stone to do everything. You're covering all your bases.
Allies in activation, choosing, and programming.
That blending principle is definitely key. But okay, before we can blend, we have to choose the right stones in the first place. This process often feels a bit mystical or random, but you argue it's actually this beautiful marriage of what intuition and scientific composition.
Precisely that. Your intuition should always be the compass. You have to trust the stone that physically or energetically calls to you. Pay attention to the one that makes time feel like it slows down when you touch it, or the one your hand just keeps drifting towards, even if it's not the one you think you need based on a book description.
Like that student you mentioned, who kept reaching for labradorite.
Exactly. Her hand kept drifting to the gentle, shimmering labradorite, even though she'd read that for serious protection she needed the aggressive power of obsidian. Her body, her intuition, knew what her conscious mind hadn't yet grasped about what she truly needed in that moment.
But intuition isn't the whole story. Composition provides the capacity.
Right. Knowing why a stone works, understanding its composition and structure, validates your intuitive choice. It grounds it in something tangible. We talked about black tourmaline's boron silicate structure generating that electric charge. Knowing that explains why it feels like an energetic vacuum hose against EMF debris. The science confirms the feeling. It gives you confidence in your choice.
Okay, so let's dive into that gallery of protective archetypes you outlined. Because choosing the wrong shield, you said, can actually be counterproductive.
It can, yeah. Like using a sledgehammer when you need a fine paintbrush. Let's start with the big one. Black tourmaline, the grounded transformer.
Okay, black tourmaline.
This is your essential energetic recycler. It doesn't just block energy, it actively sucks in static, negative emotional gunk, EMF debris, and effectively grounds it out, neutralizing it. It has this strong downward pulling energy, making it the supreme ballast for anyone suffering from scattered thoughts, anxiety, or feeling ungrounded. Keep it by your computer, put pieces near your Wi-Fi router, or place it under your feet during meditation for deep stability.
Got it. Next up, obsidian. The mirror blade of truth. Sounds intense.
It is intense. Obsidian is volcanic glass. It cooled too quickly to form a crystalline structure, so it's amorphous. Energetically, this makes it intensely protective. It aggressively absorbs and traps disruptive vibrations. It's excellent for deep shadow work, for cutting through illusion and revealing manipulation because it forces rapid honesty. It shows you the truth, whether you like it or not.
But there's a warning here.
Yes, a critical warning. Its intensity can be genuinely overwhelming if you're already feeling emotionally fragile or raw. It tends to accelerate confrontation, both internal and external. It can amplify underlying anxieties before it helps resolve them. So approach with respect. It's powerful medicine, not necessarily for every day. Gentle protection.
Okay, what about a gentler option? Smoky quartz.
Yeah.
The gentle purifier. Smoky quartz is exactly that, the filter. If obsidian is a sharp surgical scalpel, smoky quartz is like taking a gentle cleansing bath in a forest stream. It excels at filtering collective emotional smog and that generalized low-grade chaos of urban environments, the stress you absorb on the subway, the frantic energy in a busy supermarket. It gently sifts out negativity, like filtering coffee grounds without being jarring. This makes it ideal for people in high-contact professions like teaching, nursing, therapy, or even just surviving big family holidays with sanity intact.
Yes. Okay, I personally love labradorite, the shimmering cloak.
Labradorite is phenomenal, especially for empaths or highly sensitive people.
Oh.
Those beautiful iridescent flashes you see, it's called labradorescence. It's caused by light interacting with micro-layered internal structures within the stone. It literally bends, reflects, and scatters light. And energetically, it seems to do the same thing with invasive or unwanted energies. It makes you less visible or less of a target for casual psychic cords, energy vampires, or just ambient negativity. It creates a sort of shimmering protective cloak around you.
Perfect for introverts and crowds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you feel easily seen or targeted by other people's energy.
Okay. Then we have hematite, the iron anchor.
Hematite is all about grounding, thanks to its high iron oxide density. It fundamentally anchors floaty, scattered, or anxious energy, drawing it down through the root chakra into the earth. It's superb for warding off those so-called energy vampires because its density helps create a strong boundary that prevents your vitality from leaking out or being siphoned off. It feels heavy, secure, and deeply connected to the Earth's core when you hold it.
Right. And fluorite, the rainbow shield, how is that different?
Fluorite's key is its perfect cubic crystalline structure. On an energetic level, this translates into an ability to organize mental clutter and chaos. It brings order to thoughts. This makes it excellent for maintaining focus and making clear decisions, especially under pressure. For shielding, it clarifies your stance and helps you establish and articulate boundaries. So it doesn't just block negativity aggressively, it helps you maintain your personal space with clarity, structure, and diplomacy. It provides a shield that is coherent and well-defined.
Interesting distinction. Okay, last one in this gallery, selenite, the celestial firewall.
Selenite is unique. It's a high-frequency form of gypsum crystal. Its energetic nature is considered so pure and self-cleansing that low-vibration energies supposedly cannot cling to it. This means it virtually never needs energetic cleansing itself, which is a huge plus. It's ideal for creating a permanent, low-maintenance protective perimeter around a space, like placing pieces in the corners of a room. It acts like an etheric fiber optic cable, constantly drawing pure white light into the environment and keeping the vibration high and clear.
Wow, okay. That's a great overview of the key players. So we've intuitively felt drawn to a stone. We understand its properties. But you said it's just structure until we give it purpose. So how do we do that? How do we unify its energy toward a specific goal? This is the art of programming intentions.
Exactly. Your focused consciousness is the director of the energy. Programming is what shifts the crystal from being just a pretty rock, a reservoir of potential, into a directed, active beam of specific intention. You're telling it exactly what job you want it to do.
And the language we use for that matters immensely, right?
Tremendously. The formula, this statement of intent, works best when it's first person, I am, present tense, as if it's already happening, and uses active voice. For example, instead of saying, I hope this stone will protect me, you'd say, I am surrounded by a safe, luminous shield that filters out overwhelm. See the difference? It's an active declaration.
And you mentioned avoiding negatives.
Yes, crucially important. The subconscious mind often struggles to process negations directly. If you say, I do not absorb other people's negative emotions, your mind might still focus on absorb negative emotions. It's much more effective to state the positive outcome you do want. So instead you'd program, I maintain my inner calm and clarity regardless of external conditions. Focus on the desired state.
Okay. And the actual ritual of programming, it doesn't need to be super complicated.
Not at all. Keep it simple and sincere. First, just attune your own energy field. Take a few slow, deep breaths to quiet your mind, center yourself. Second, establish communication. Gently rub or tap the stone 3 times. It's like a subtle handshake, an acknowledgement of partnership. Hey, I'm working with you now. And speak your focused intention formula aloud or clearly in your mind 3 times. As you do, really visualize or feel the words entering the stone, maybe as liquid light or a focused beam of energy or a specific color. Engage your senses.
And you can amplify this with breath.
Yes, breath infusion is a powerful amplifier. You can draw on the Maori concept of ha, where the word for breath is the same as the word for spirit or life force. After stating your intention, take a deep breath and then exhale a focused stream of air, ha, directly onto the stone, physically imprinting your intention, your life force, into its structure. And always, always seal the process with a moment of gratitude. Thank the stone for its partnership, for agreeing to hold this intention for you.
Deanna the commuter, her example really captured this perfectly, didn't it? Programming her labradorite.
Yes. Her phrase was, I glide through every commute enveloped in iridescent calm. The thoughts and emotions of others slide past me harmlessly. It wasn't just a random nice thought she had. It was a specific instruction set given to a tangible, stabilizing ally, the labradorite. And that allowed her to maintain her composure and navigate a typically stressful environment with much greater ease. That's programming in action.
Advanced practices, grids, empaths, and defense.
Okay, so we've covered choosing, programming, the layers. Now let's take the shielding principle and expand it, make it bigger than just a single stone in your pocket. We're moving into advanced practices, starting with protective crystal grids. This is where the protection can fill a whole room, right? Or even a house.
Exactly. The premise behind grids is really about synergy, geometric, and energetic synergy. When you arrange multiple stones in a coherent, intentional pattern, they become like a choir, not just a solo voice. Their individual energies interact and amplify each other exponentially. The combined field of the grid becomes far greater, far more stable than the sum of its individual parts. This allows you to create a powerful protective field for an entire space, a home, an office, even your car.
And the shape of the grid matters. You mentioned circles, squares, triangles.
Yes, the geometry is functional. It helps guide the energy flow for a specific purpose. A circle is great for general protection, symbolizing wholeness, unity, containment, good for enveloping a whole room or living space. A square provides stability, structure, grounding. Excellent for creating a buffer around a workspace, under a bed for restful sleep, or defining a sacred space. A triangle is more dynamic, often used for deflection or focusing energy. You might point one vertex towards an entryway to repel unwanted intrusions, or towards a specific source of disruption, like a noisy neighbor's wall or a Wi-Fi router to help neutralize its effects.
So how do you actually set one up, mapping the grid?
It usually starts with a center stone. This is often clear quartz because it acts as the primary conductor and amplifier, holding the core intention for the grid. It's like the central compass point. Then you place your directional stones. These might be grounding stones like black tourmaline or hematite, forming the main structural skeleton of the grid shape. Finally, you add secondary stones, maybe amethyst for calm, rose quartz for harmony, citrine for abundance, filling in the pattern and adding specific nuances or qualities to the overall protective field.
And just placing them isn't enough, right?
Yeah.
Activation is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. The grid needs to be switched on. You typically use a conductor crystal, often a clear quartz point or wand, to physically or energetically trace invisible pathways connecting every stone in the grid. As you do this, you visualize luminous filaments of light linking them all together, maybe starting from the center stone and moving outwards, connecting each one back to the center and to each other. This act connects the dots energetically and unifies the individual stones into one cohesive, humming circuit.
That story about the restaurant owner, that was a great example of a grid in action.
Yes, he installed a simple circular grid, likely with tourmaline and maybe some quartz and amethyst, under the main central prep table in his busy kitchen, a high-stress environment. He reported that over the following weeks, there was a noticeable dwindling in staff curls and tension, fewer operational hiccups like equipment breakdowns, and even, strangely, fewer minor electrical issues. The grid seemed to act as a constant energetic stabilizer, subtly neutralizing the daily stress and friction, creating a more harmonious ambient energy field.
That kind of comprehensive stability is so vital when we talk about the next topic. Crystal shields for empaths and highly sensitive souls. These systems are wired differently, aren't they?
They really are. Highly sensitive people often operate with a nervous system that's just more aware. Hyper-awareness. Their mirror neurons tend to fire more rapidly, meaning they literally feel and process other people's emotional and even physical states much more directly, internally. It's a genuine gift, deep empathy, intuition, but it absolutely needs proper packaging, proper shielding, so they don't drown in the constant influx of the world's emotional and energetic tides.
So what are the key allies specifically for sensitive souls?
We've mentioned some already. Lepidolite is paramount. That natural lithium provides a soothing lullaby for an easily overstimulated nervous system. Labradorite, the shimmering cloak, is essential for creating that reflective boundary, ensuring external hostility or intensity glances off rather than penetrating deeply. And chrysocolla is incredibly important too. It works with the throat chakra and the heart. It acts as a compassionate interpreter, helping sensitive people find their voice to say no to excessive emotional demands or energy drains, but without the crippling burden of guilt that often accompanies boundary setting for empaths.
And layering is even more important for empaths.
Yes, layering becomes essential for comprehensive support. A common recommendation is using black tourmaline at the feet or worn as ankle bracelets for deep, stabilizing grounding, keeping them connected to the earth. Then labradorite worn higher up, perhaps at the collarbone or sternum, often the most psychically exposed area for that reflective shielding, and maybe amethyst at the hairline or third eye to maintain spiritual alignment and clarity, ensuring they remain open to useful intuitive insights without absorbing all the surrounding psychic or emotional trauma.
Emma, the social worker you mentioned, her setup really exemplified this blend perfectly.
It did. She used black tourmaline earrings for constant grounding near her head. She wore a chrysocolla pendant over her heart to support compassionate communication and boundary setting, and she kept a piece of fluorite, the organizer, in her planner or on her desk. The combination allowed her to maintain deep compassion and presence for her clients, who were often in crisis, while using the fluorite's structuring energy to help her mentally process, categorize, and separate the chaotic emotional narratives she encountered daily. She performed her incredibly difficult job without becoming an emotional sponge, which is vital for longevity in those fields.
Okay. We also need to address the more intense end of the spectrum, defense against psychic attack and negativity. This is a real thing for some people.
It is. We need to define the spectrum here. It ranges from just dealing with heavy emotional residue left in a space or passive negativity from someone, all the way up to more deliberate, focused projections of rage, obsession, jealousy, or control. These more intense projections can sometimes manifest as tangible, energetic connections, often called psychic cords or hooks, that latch onto a person's aura and drain their energy or influence their thoughts and feelings.
So what's in the defense arsenal for that?
The heavy hitters come out here. Black tourmaline is primary defense, again, because its ferroelectric nature creates an immediate energetic vacuum, sucking in and grounding the incoming negative heat or projection. Obsidian, the mirror blade, is often used specifically like a psychic scalpel to cleanly and quickly sever those energetic cords when they're detected. It's decisive. And crucially, after a cord is severed, there's an energetic wound or void left where it attached. It's vital to immediately fill that space with positive, loving energy to prevent reattachment. Rose quartz is perfect for this, flooding the area with self-compassion and healing energy.
Is there an immediate defense ritual someone can do if they feel under attack?
Yes, a simple but effective one. If you feel that sudden toxic heat, psychic pressure, or energy drain, take your black tourmaline and press it firmly against your root chakra area, base of the spine, tailbone, or your solar plexus, upper abdomen. These are common attachment points. As you press it there, take a forceful exhale, visualizing or intending that you are pushing all the toxic heat, the negativity, the intrusion directly into the crystal. Use your breath to expel it. Then immediately take a deep, clean inhale, drawing fresh, vital energy back into your system. This combines the crystal's grounding and absorbing properties with immediate somatic intention and breath work. It's energetic first aid.
Okay. Finally, in this advanced section, let's quickly touch on synergy, combining crystals with other practices to boost the effect.
Yes, crystals rarely work in isolation. They love collaboration. Grounding practices, for example, are significantly enhanced when you pair hematite, maybe placing pieces under your bare feet, with specific breath work that directs the inhale low into the pelvis and the exhale down through the feet into the earth. The hematite amplifies that physical and energetic connection.
What about smudging?
Great synergy there. Smudging, traditionally using smoke from herbs like sage, palo santo, or cedar, is excellent for dispersing stagnant, diffuse negative energy in a space, clearing the air. While the smoke clears, a crystal like black tourmaline or selenite, placed strategically, can anchor the perimeter, ensuring the cleared space remains stable, sealed, and protected from negativity returning immediately. Smoke clears, crystal seals.
And sound. Tuning forks, singing bowls.
Sound is a powerful amplifier and cleanser. Using a quartz crystal singing bowl, or even specific tuning forks, introduces coherent, high-frequency vibration into the crystal's field. This vibration can literally help shake loose, stubborn residual energies clinging to the crystal, cleansing it on a deeper level. It can also amplify the crystal's own inherent frequency, making its protective qualities more potent. There was some research suggesting agate's conductivity increased significantly after a sound bath. Sound basically makes the crystal work more efficiently.
And basic feng shui principles.
Never overlook the simple stuff. Crystal placement should ideally align with good energy flow principles. For instance, placing protective crystals near doorways or windows makes sense. And addressing basic feng shui issues, like maybe moving a bed out of the direct line of the door, the so-called coffin position, combined with a supportive crystal grid placed under the bed, can synergistically improve sleep quality and the overall energetic harmony of the bedroom far more than just the grid alone. It's about the whole energetic environment.
Stewardship and long-term care.
Okay, we have covered so much ground. We've established the shield, chosen allies, charged them with intention, learned how to layer the defense, even explored advanced grids and defenses. This brings us to what might be the most overlooked phase, but maybe one of the most important. Stewardship and long-term care. Why is continuous cleansing and charging so absolutely vital?
Because, as we've stressed throughout this deep dive, crystals are active tools. They're energetic sponges. They work hard for us, absorbing, deflecting, transmuting energy constantly on our behalf. Just like any filter, saturation occurs over time. If you use, say, a black tourmaline pendant every day to absorb ambient EMF and workplace stress for weeks on end and never clean it, it gets full. It becomes energetically saturated.
And what happens then? How do you know?
You'll often notice it. The stone might feel physically different, maybe duller in appearance, or develop a sticky, heavy texture. Or, more subtly, you might start feeling unexplained irritability, fatigue, or the very things you were trying to shield against might seem to creep back in. The shield weakens because the tool is clogged.
So we really need to view this as mandatory maintenance, not optional.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. Cleansing removes the accumulated energetic residue. It's like giving the crystal a much-needed spiritual detox soak. And charging restores its vitality, replenishes its energy reserves. It's like feeding it a deeply nourishing meal so it can function optimally again.
And how often should we be doing this?
It really depends on the stone and how intensely it's being used. A general guideline. Pocket stones that you carry daily, absorbing commute stress or meeting anxiety, probably need a good cleanse weekly. Jewelry, which is in constant contact with your biofield, benefits from monthly care, maybe during the full or new moon. And any stone used during or immediately after a particularly intense, emotionally charged, or highly negative encounter should ideally be cleansed right away before you use it again. Clear it while the experience is fresh.
Okay. When choosing cleansing methods, you mentioned we have to consider the stone itself. Physical constraints.
Yes, critically important. You must always honor the physical nature of the stone. Not all crystals tolerate all methods. Water is a common cleanser, but many stones are damaged by it. Selenite, as we mentioned, is highly soluble gypsum. It will literally dissolve or degrade in water. Pyrite, fool's gold, contains iron and will rust if soaked in water or buried in salt for extended periods. So knowing the basic properties, hardness, composition, water sensitivity of your specific stone is the absolute first step in responsible stewardship. Don't ruin your ally.
Right. So what are some safe and effective cleansing techniques?
There are many good options. Salt burial, placing the stone in a bowl of dry sea salt or Himalayan salt overnight, works beautifully for dense, non-porous stones like quartz varieties. The salt is highly absorbent of negative energy. Just brush it off well afterwards. Smoke cleansing, using the smoke from burning sage, Palo Santo, cedar, or even incense like frankincense, is safe for almost all stones. The smoke disperses stagnant or unwanted energies quickly and efficiently. Sound baths, using singing bowls, tuning forks, or even drumming, offer a vibrational rainfall that shakes residual energies loose without physical contact. Great for delicate clusters or water-sensitive stones. And earth burial, literally burying the stone in the ground for a day or longer, allows it to reconnect with the source energy of the planet, giving it a deep reset and cleanse. Just remember where you buried it.
Okay, so once it's energetically clean, we need to recharge it, fill it back up. What are the best ways to do that?
Recharging restores the stone's innate vitality and strengthens its connection to its purpose. Several great methods. Placing the tired stone on a large quartz cluster or inside an amethyst geode acts like putting it on a natural power bank. These larger formations have such a high, stable energy output they effectively recharge smaller stones placed near them. Utilizing solar and lunar timing is classic. Sunlight, solar energy, imparts a more active, yang, energizing charge, good for stones used for motivation or protection. Moonlight, especially full moonlight, lunar energy, offers a gentler, yin, intuitive charge, excellent for stones used for emotional balance, intuition, or sleep. Be mindful some colored stones like amethyst can fade in prolonged direct sunlight. And hands-on energy transfer is also incredibly effective and personal. Simply holding the cleansed stone during meditation, visualization, or using energy healing modalities like Reiki allows you to consciously imbue it with pure, positive energy directly from your own field or from source. It deepens the personal connection.
We also wanted to briefly touch on the importance of ethical sourcing again. It's not just a nice-to-have thing, is it?
No, it's really not just a moral consideration, though it is that too. It's a practical, energetic necessity, especially for sensitive work like shielding. We strongly encourage seeking out suppliers who provide transparency and assurances about fair trade practices, environmental impact, and respectful mining conditions. Think about it. If a stone has been mined violently, transported under stressful conditions, or handled by people suffering exploitation, that negative energetic scar or imprint can remain within the stone's field.
And that affects its ability to shield.
For highly sensitive users, absolutely. A stone carrying energetic trauma cannot effectively shield with what we call unclouded integrity. Its vibration is compromised. So the intention for clean, clear protection really starts long before the stone even reaches your hand. Choose consciously.
That makes perfect sense. And finally, what about when a stone feels done? Is there a concept of retirement?
Yes, absolutely. Stones aren't necessarily lifetime allies for one specific task. Sometimes a stone that suddenly feels overwhelmingly heavy, persistently dull even after cleansing, or one that cracks or breaks repeatedly without obvious physical cause. This may signal the completion of its current service cycle with you. It's not a failure on your part or the stone's. It's often a sign that the work is complete, the lesson learned, or that a different energy is now needed.
So what do you do then?
You honor its service, thank it sincerely for its help, and then you give it a respectful retirement, usually by returning the fragments or the whole stone back to the earth, burying it in your garden, a forest, or releasing it into a natural body of water, if appropriate for the stone type. It's a cycle of gratitude and return. Outro.
Wow. We have covered an incredible amount of ground today. This has truly been a deep dive, hasn't it? We aim to give you the blueprint for turning what some see as just inert mineral structure into a living, dynamic personal shield. A shield that helps balance that need for personal sovereignty and energetic space with the ability to still engage compassionately with the world.
Yeah, we've really established, I hope, that the most powerful shield isn't actually the stone itself in isolation. It's the synergy. It's the combination of the crystal's innate structure, your clear and consistent intention, and that mindful daily practice of stewardship, the cleansing, the charging, the partnership. You listening now really should have a comprehensive toolkit to proactively protect and manage your own energy field much more effectively.
So as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over to take with you. We know scientifically the power of the mind, right? Belief alone can trigger real physiological change in the body. That's the basis of the placebo effect. Expectation literally changes chemistry.
It's a documented phenomenon. The mind-body connection is undeniable.
Exactly. So if belief alone is that powerful, consider this. How does combining that power of focused belief and clear intention with the fundamental, unwavering physical stability of a crystal structure. How does that combination potentially work to permanently encode a new baseline of calm, of resilience, maybe of clarity, into your very nervous system? The crystal offers that measurable, tangible coherence, something stable to anchor your personal focus onto, grounded in stable physics.
It's like giving your intention a physical anchor in reality.
Precisely. You no longer have to just passively move through the world, absorbing all its static and chaos. You are now equipped, you have the tools to actively, consciously shape your own energetic environment. Now, go choose your next ally.
To get more details about crystal shields, unlocking healing energies and protection techniques, click the below link to get the book. Subscribe us to get more content like this.